Welcome to Dropping In, a podcast of storytelling and interviews with your host, Winter Olympian Mercedes Nichol.
Now, if you don't normally stay on to the end of my podcast, I just want you to know that that is my mother's voice, and I love hearing it over and over again. Thank you so much for dropping in today. This is my new series. I'm so excited to bring it to you. I'm actually passionate about this one because I want to know where motivation comes from. Sometimes I'm out for a jog, or I try and go for a jog, or I go to the gym and I don't really want to, but like there is this motivation behind that. I want to talk to Olympians, Paralympians, doctors, trainers, different people to find out where their where their motivation is fueled from. So I want to share that with you, and I also want to laugh, listen, and learn on this podcast as well. So thank you for dropping in today. If it's your first time, if it's your 125th time, if you can believe it, thank you so much for joining me today. Today is September 18th, 2025. Let me introduce the guests that we're going to be dropping in with today. Our next guest was introduced to one of her current sports during a university testing camp in 2011. She then thrust into the sport of bobsled as a brakewoman, pushing her way to podiums on the North American Cup circuit with pilots Alyssa Risling and Christine de Bruyn. In the 2016-17 season, she competed in the two-woman bobsled event and won gold at the World Cup in my hometown of Whistler with pilot Kaylee Humphreys. Moving forward, she then raced to bronze at the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympic test event. Now, for those games, she was named an alternate, and the test event is usually the year before. So that's annoying. But she turned that setback into motivation, transitioning to the sled's driver's seat late in 2018. Her tenacity paid off. She rose quickly among the world's best. She made her debut as a pilot at the Beijing 2022 in the two women's bobsled, as well as racing the monobob. She went on to earn the World Cup Crystal Globe in the 2022-2023 season, finishing third overall with 5 podium finishes. That was okay. Wait, but I started off by saying that she was doing another sport. So in 2011, so what was that sport? She started her sporting journey as a standout shot put and hammer throw athlete at York University, where she was named Sport Athlete of the Year in 2013. She graduated from York University in 2013 with an honors Bachelor of Arts in History and with a psychology minor. She is a trivia and Jeopardy enthusiast. This is something I only just learned. That she's an enthusiast about Jeopardy. She's proud Toronto Blue Jays fan and a passionate ambassador for organizations like Fast and Females, Jays Care Foundation, the Classroom Champions. And I'm so happy that she donates her time to Athletes Can and the Canadian Olympic Committee Athletes Commission with me as well. This daughter trivia buff, award-winning elite athlete is about to drop in. I'm so pleased to have on the podcast Cynthia Appiah. Okay, you had like the longest bio. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mercedes. Thank you. Sometimes it's funny when I hear these bios being read back to me. I'm like, oh yeah, those are the things that I've done.
Accomplishments.
Those are some
Totally.
accomplishments. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt. Oh, so good. Are you ready to drop in on the 10 rapid fire questions that are never rapid? It's just so everyone gets to know you a little bit more.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Ready as you will ever be. Where in the world are you today?
I am right now. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I literally just flew back in from LA this morning, though.
Okay, from LA. Interesting.
Mhm.
I like it. Okay, next one. Are you an early morning person or a late night girl?
This is very bad. I'm a late night girl, which is obviously not the best when you're an athlete, but I'm quickly learning to change that bad habit.
I love it. Okay, if you weren't in sport, what totally different career would you want to try?
I think I'd be in teaching because had it not been for bobsleigh, that was most likely the pathway I was going to be on. I had, faint hopes of maybe getting into the acting world because that's always been my really true passion. But I think I would have settled, not to say that teaching is a settling job, but I
Right.
think I would have given up on those dreams to become a teacher.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. Teacher, like what age of kids would you be teaching?
I wanted to teach like high school, or I guess in Ontario, because that's where I'm from. I think they call it intermediate. So you can teach from grade 7 to grade 12. And
Okay.
I've always been super passionate about history and wanting to make it engaging because I remember history in high school and I hated it. And so the fact that I got a degree in it is hilarious, but it's
Amazing.
because it wasn't taught fun in a fun way.
Mm,
Yeah. And that's what I was hoping to do when I became a teacher.
totally fair, totally fair. Winter or summer Olympics?
You know what? So Canada does so well in the Winter Olympics, and so that's what makes it fun to watch. But because I was a track and field athlete to start, and I will always be a track and field fan, I'm gonna have to say Summer Olympics. Yeah, I
Oh,
know, controversy.
I think that's a good question. Like, I just like that question. Okay. Number five, mono or two woman bobsled, which gives you the bigger thrill?
I'm gonna say both because even though I've been really good in the monobob and I get such a huge thrill when you do well, you always get a huge thrill. I
Yeah.
think because of how much more challenging the two women is,
Yeah.
when you do well, it's an even bigger thrill, and you get to do it with a teammate. And so I'll say both.
Okay. 1 second. We'll see. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Number six. I'm interested in this one. Trivia night, weapon of choice, history, sports, or random facts.
Ooh, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm good at all three. Like I know the most randomest things that don't fit into a category. Like
Yeah.
anyone who watches Jeopardy knows they have a category called, well, they have two categories, hodgepodge and potpourri, which I take it to mean we don't have a category for this, so it's going to sit here. And it's some of
Okay.
the most randomest things. You're just like, how, why do I know that? But then you do. Obviously, sports as an athlete, duh, of course I'll
Yeah.
know. And then history, my major would have failed me if I didn't use that as a secret weapon.
Do you have like a photographic memory? How do you
I don't
remember all this?
know.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's a photographic memory or if it's just like, for some reason I learned it and it stayed. I don't know, maybe that's what a photographic memory is, but I do forget a lot of stuff. Like sometimes they'll come up to me and I'm like,
Who
I
are
don't I
you?
don't remember. Yeah, who are you? And I'm so bad at that. Like I ran into my hairstylist the other day, and it's a new
Oh no.
hairstylist that I've been going to. I ran into her in the mall and she was like, "Hey," and like, "Hey." She's like,
Oh
"I'm your
no.
hairstylist. I just did your hair." I'm like, "Oh,
We just
hi."
spent like 4 hours with you.
I know. I felt so embarrassed, and then I
Out of
quickly ran to
context.
this.
It was out
Yeah,
of context.
it was out of context. She didn't have her apron on. I didn't have my apron on. That's what it was.
Totally hear you. I totally hear you. Okay. Number seven, city you'd love to race or compete in.
I will say, oh, we go to some really cool places.
I know you do.
I know, I'm really starting to love Lillehammer. The people are
Oh,
so nice. It's always so cold, and I think that's what makes it that much more special. Is like the warmness of the heart of the people of Norway is what makes
really?
it so great. It sounds so cheesy, but it's such a like a cool place to be at. The track is lovely.
Yeah.
Um, I will then also give honorable mention to Calgary because even though the track is closed down, when we did have
R.I.P.
race, yeah, rest in peace, although maybe hopefully I don't know, probably not, but maybe there's hope down the line somewhere. But when we
Okay.
did race here, it was
Yeah.
just such a cool like when you race at home or your
Yeah.
home track, it's there's nothing that really compares to that. So
No doubt. No doubt. But like, what if there was like a magical spot that happened to pop up with this track? Where would you want that to be?
I would
Like,
selfishly want it in Toronto just so that my family members could come watch.
oh, I love
Um,
that.
but you know what? When you said magical, I St. Moritz kind of gives us that feel,
Doesn't it
right?
just? But is that only for monobob, or do you guys actually do?
No, we can compete there all the time. All three
Okay.
sliding disciplines in the bobsleigh, we compete in bobsleigh there.
Okay.
The
Cool.
only track that we can't do one of the disciplines in is in Latvia, and we can't do four men there.
Oh,
Yeah, just the track was never really built with four-man in mind. It was actually built as a luge track,
okay.
and they've tried sending four-man sleds down. I think they tried 6 times, and it crashed five of the 6 times. And that one time it did make it down, it was by the skin of its teeth.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
we don't host races there in that
Um,
event.
understandably so.
Yeah,
Okay. Number 8. If you could instantly learn a new skill, what would it be?
probably to sing. I wish I could sing. I can't.
Me neither.
Yeah, okay, good. And like I can hum, I can carry a tune to some extent,
Yeah.
but I wish like, maybe not like Mariah Carey or Dion levels, but like I would love to be a performer on a stage, just being like,
Able to carry a tune.
exactly.
Totally hear you. Someone passed me a microphone at a wedding the other month, and I was like, "You can take that back. I'm not singing."
Yeah, I was like, let's not hurt the people who've been enjoying their day so far. There you
Exactly.
go.
I love it. Okay, number 9. Do you have a favorite hype word or phrase that you tell yourself before a run?
I always tell myself, oh, what do I say? Okay, I have to put my helmet on, pretend I'm doing
Mm,
this.
I love that.
I know one of the words is focus. Um, execute is one word. Oh, I'm missing the last word. The last word also starts with an F, but it was something that our
Mhm.
former push coach would always tell me before I would do my runs.
Okay.
And so now that he's not on the team anymore, it's still something that I tell myself to be like, hey, these are your 3 points. That's all you have to do, and the run will be fine.
Sick. I love that. I like to get in the minds and understand what else is going on up there because I know everyone's got their like shtick. I did too,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hmm.
Okay, number 10. This is the one I'm asking everyone, and no one knows it yet. Um,
Okay.
what's the one word that sums up your motivation to keep going? It's such a tough question.
Oh, that is a tough question. And I'm a yapper, so I to tell me to narrow it
One
down to
word?
one
I
word,
know, I
jeez.
know, I know. I
Um,
had Abby, trip on the first one, and she had a good one, and then I had, Phil Marquis on as well. He also had a good one.
okay.
No pressure.
One word that describes
To
my
keep you
motivation.
going. Yeah,
Um, oh my goodness, this is hard.
I know. Do you want me to play the Jeopardy music?
Yeah, my
Do,
help.
do, do, do.
Um, I would say um represent. Honestly,
I
represent.
like that.
Yeah. It's what got me to kind of throw away all the negative emotions that came from the 2018 games and to pivot onto what I felt was important, which was to showcase what Black athletes can do in the winter sphere because there's not a lot of us.
Mhm.
And prior to me becoming a pilot, I think I could count on one hand the number of Black pilots that were in our sport as a whole. And so, or like that were sliding at that time.
Yeah,
And so I just wanted to be like, let's keep pushing that envelope and let's represent what we can do and let's represent what all people can do. And, there really is no limit other than the ones that you put on yourself. And so if I can convince one kid to try out a winter sport or just even a sport that they didn't think they belong in, that
yeah.
representation is more than, it's worth its weight in gold.
Oh, so freaking cool. Amazing. Okay. You're done with the rapid fire. I really love that. I think it's just interesting to get everyone's take on that like one word and see what comes out from everyone because everyone
Mhm.
finds motivation in different ways like throughout life as well. Like some days I can be like, "Oh man, if that little kid can do it, I can do it." Like it's just super
Yeah.
every day is different and like I just it's so fascinating to me. So I want to start with your early in career when you were at university
Mhm.
doing the shot put and the hammer throw. Like how the heck did that come about? It's so random.
Honestly,
Maybe it's not. I don't know. I think that's the most
it is and it isn't because like sometimes I'll sit back and I look at my life and I fully think that everything that's happened to me in life has just been a series of fortunate incidences or fortunate events, not unfortunate events like, that great book series, but I've
Yes.
been very lucky where doors have opened and I've been able to actualize on those opportunities and
Mhm.
recognize them as opportunities. And so for me, shot put started randomly. I
Mhm.
remember I had moved to a new school. So first elementary school I went to was a K to 5 school, and then I moved to a K to 8 school to start grade 6. So that became kind of like my middle school. And one day, the teachers like rounded up all the grade 6 students and said, "We're going outside." And this was like in the springtime.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, one by one, every one of you guys pick this ball up and throw it as far as you can." And I was like, okay. So I threw this ball and I threw it far enough, and they're like, okay, Sin, so you're gonna do, well, they didn't call me Sin, they called me Cynthia. But they're like, hey, do you want to do shot put? And I'm like, well, what's shot put? They're like, well, you just did it. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. But can I also run? Because I loved running. And I thought I was pretty fast as a sprinter. And so they're like, yeah, sure, you can do both, whatever.
What
Okay,
grade was
next.
this?
This
What
was
grade?
grade 6.
Oh, they've already like
Yeah,
picked
they've already,
you
like,
out.
you hear those stories of like certain countries where they're like, oh, we know from the kid, like we bring all the 4-year-olds together and we do run them through tests and like you're doing
Get
gymnastics.
it.
I feel like
Get
that was
it.
our version, but
And
like
is this in Ontario?
this was in Ontario.
Okay, I'm just
Yes.
like, so I grew up in Ontario from into I moved in grade 5 to the
Hmm.
West Coast. And I remember like I have core memories of doing like athletics in the gym, like high jump and like all of that stuff.
Okay, so the first elementary school I went to, like I said, it was a K to 5 school, and it was a public school. And in Toronto, the
Yeah.
public school is way more funded than the Catholic school, which is where I moved to from grade 6 to grade 8. And I
Okay.
remember for gym class, we would do stuff. We would do,
Yeah,
the horse. We would walk on the
totally.
balance beam. We would climb these like this ladders
Yes.
rope course thing that would like they pushed it into the wall and then they would fold it back out when we needed it. And I
Yes.
thought this was like, normal.
Is
Turns
it
out it's
not
not.
normal?
Apparently, it's not normal. That is 100% not normal because my elementary school, the Catholic school I went to, did not have that. And I don't know if it was like a lack of funding thing. But when I talked about that in university or in high school, I just got like eyes falling out of people's like sockets because they thought I was like
No
talking
way.
crazy. Yeah,
Okay, we're
apparently
in
it's
the same
not
boat though.
normal. Yeah. I mean, again, I thought it was normal. Like
But
I was like,
I was at like a French immersion public school, so I don't know. That's like
maybe.
serious core memory though.
Yeah. No, for me too. Like I can literally picture it right now.
Yes,
What the gym looked like, how they set it
100%.
up.
Yeah,
We would do like gymnastics like, tumbling or whatever. They'd bring it all like the mats and
totally.
put the mats together with the Velcro. And I'm like,
Can you think about how much I think like now because I'm older, I'm like, imagine how much those mats cost.
I know.
For like the is it called high jump where you're like just running and then going over?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
high
not like
jump.
the long, yeah,
The one
it's
with the
yeah.
pole vault. Yeah, pole
You do
vault is the
like
one
the
with the
scissor kick and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. So yeah, like no, that was 100% a core memory for me. But yeah,
Okay,
when I moved to the Catholic school, they were just like, yeah, just throw the ball. You're doing shot put now. And then
nice.
I pretty much continued that all the way through to the end of grade 8. When I
Yeah.
got to high school, track and field sign up in the spring came around and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna continue that shot put thing because that was fun.
Okay.
And went to OFSA all 4 years of high school, medaled in grade 9 and in grade 12. And grade 12 was actually, I was super lucky to have that to have that happen and play out the way it did because the throws coach for York University happened to be at OFSA that year. I believe it was held in Hamilton. And my high school teacher told him that, hey, the girl who just finished third place in shot put is going to York University next year. I had no aspirations or I had no idea that you could do track and field in university. I thought
Okay.
grade 12 was going to be the end of it. And then he phoned me up and was like, hey, you're coming to York. We can help you out with getting, some financial support as long as you stay with the track team and your grades are high. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And so then that opened that door to a very great 5-year university career where I then added the hammer. I tried discus. I was terrible at it.
Okay.
And that was like, yeah, that was my shot put and hammer career. So again, random opportunities that I just happened to seize upon.
Okay. Random question. I want to get back to motivation of it. Like when you're throwing the shot put?
Hmm.
Is it like gradually are you just getting better and it's going further and you're like, I want more?
A bit of it was that. I mean, when I was in high school, I don't know if you had this happen in your high school where, first day of any sports sign up, you get like throngs of people showing up. And then by the first day, that group that came out is like halved because then people are like, okay, I actually don't want to do this. And as you do more and more practices, less and less people show up. And then you get your core group of people that go to the meets. And even though most of the people that were on the track team weren't necessarily my friends, some of them were in older grades, or some of them just were people I didn't have classes with, so I didn't really know them that well.
Yeah.
My motivation was like, I could be good at this. This seems fun. And like it's not taking away from school because my parents were always huge sticklers for making sure my education was always at the forefront of everything I did.
Awesome.
But yeah, you throw and you get encouraged by your teacher or your coach, and they're like, you did it well. Maybe just fix this, and you'll throw it even further. And it's that chasing of, hey, I could be better if I just change this one thing, or if I keep practicing and keep at it, I'll get better.
Yeah.
That was motivating me to keep on coming back every day. And there were days where our coach was like, oh, sorry, I can't come today, I've got something. And I'd be so devastated because I'm like, I just want to be better. Like, I feel like it was clicking for me on the Monday, and now we're back on Wednesday and we're going to miss out on a training session. And what if I don't get any better? So I think something just switched in my head where you kind of want to strive for excellence. And
Yeah.
I was, striving for excellence in school as much as I was on the field of play.
I love that. I also love that the encouragement side of it kind of gripped you and
Yeah.
kept you going, and I think coaches have a huge impact in our lives as athletes as well.
Oh, 100%. And I think, sometimes that does get lost, even when you're like a long season vet like me, where you do the sport for so long and you do it well enough for so long that sometimes coaches may forget you need just as much positive reinforcement as the rookie who's coming onto the team.
Mhm.
Because it goes such a long way to boosting your confidence, right? Like a sport at the end of the day is confident. Who's the most confident person at the top of that hill? Or, when that whistle blows, confidence will get you so far.
I like that. Sometimes you kinda gotta, like I think also other people perceive confidence in other people in different
Hmm.
ways. Like, I could be like, "Ooh, I don't know if I got this," and everyone's like, "Oh, she is holding herself well.
Yes.
She can do this." So, you never know what is actually going on in someone's head, whether it's like, "I totally got this, I'm confident," or it's like, "Here we are,
Yeah. Okay.
trying to look tough."
Okay. Yeah. There's that girl. She beat me last week. Okay. She's back again. She didn't quit. Okay. All right. Let's go again this week.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about that transition from the throw to the run push of a gigantic sled.
Yes. So partway through my university career, obviously the awesome Vancouver 2010 games were bestowed upon the great cities of Vancouver and Whistler. And I remember watching it on TV, and I was kicking myself because I was like, why am I not there? Mind you, I was in the middle of indoor track and field season. So I think my coaches would have been very upset if I decided to like skip out to go watch the Olympics for 2 weeks. But I
Understandable
remember,
though.
yeah, fair, fair. But I remember watching it on TV and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And it's in our backyard. And I had so much like national pride seeing our Canadian athletes just like
Mm,
absolutely kick ass. And I remember watching the women's bobsleigh event, and I knew what bobsleigh was because I had watched Cool Runnings, but for some reason I never thought that the women's thing was an event. And so, lucky for me, I watched it, and Canada went 1-2, gold and silver on the home track. I don't think you can ask for a better result than that.
yeah.
And, seeing Shelly Ann Brown, who was for me my first introduction to Black women in sport. And so to go back to the earlier question of the one word that I use to define my motivation, when I say represent, I turn to people like Shelly Ann because for me, she represented hope for the first time. She
Mm,
represented possibility, opportunities that are endless if you choose to seize them. And seeing her celebrate that silver medal, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I never thought I never thought black women could do winter sport. I never thought black people could do winter sport. I mean,
Fascinating.
obviously, Cool Runnings is Cool Runnings, but it's not something that's like or at that time it was really promoted
Yeah.
outside of like, oh, the Jamaicans are here again. Okay, and now
Right.
back to the race. It's unfortunate. That's how they were kind of perceived. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of like opened, my mind of like, oh, this is something that I could definitely do. And then I quickly forgot about it and went about my life
Okay.
with track and field. And then I believe it was that following summer,
Uh-huh.
Ontario bobsleigh came to York University, and I was just like, well, I'm already here. I might as well try out. That year, I was having one of the worst seasons of my like university career. I was
Oh,
not throwing well. There was just a lot of infighting in our training group. Our team was quite toxic at times. It just felt like not
yeah.
the home I had grown to love for the past 2, 3 seasons being there. And so I was looking for an out. And then Ontario bobsleigh was like, hey, we're doing tryouts. And I was like, hey, this might be my out. So I remember it was like a July day. It was the night of a twilight meet. For those of you who don't know what a twilight is, it's basically an evening track and field meet. So it starts at dusk,
Yeah.
hence the name Twilight. And
Not the book.
not the book. Yeah, Stephanie Meyer's not autographing as you win your event. Um, but yeah, it's just like a local small meet just to help you prepare for a bigger meet down the line in the summer. And I was supposed to be focusing for that, and I did do the Twilight because my coach would have killed me if I didn't show up. But
Yeah.
prior to that, they had this tryout, and I said, okay, I'm going to pay my $20, try it out, see what happens. If nothing comes from it, hey, at least I tried.
Yeah.
And I went through it, and they said, hey, you've hit some of our scoring metrics, like, past certain standards. Would you like to come down and join the Ontario team this year? Obviously, I turned that opportunity down because school's important. I was about to start my third or fourth year of university, and I wasn't going to pass that up on a maybe or an unsurety. So I made
Okay.
sure I graduated from university, but if any other opportunities did arise, I was going to take them as long as they didn't impede with school. So
Hmm.
funny enough, March of that year, I get, or, January of that year, I get an email from Ontario Bobsleigh saying, hey, there's a driving school opportunity in Lake Placid, New York. It's the week of March, I think it was like 8th to the 12th or something.
Yeah.
Would you be down? And I said, absolutely, yes, I will be down. I'm 100% down. Track
This
and
is
field season.
on
Yeah,
ice.
it's on ice, on ice. So track and
Oh,
field season was done, and I was like, "Okay, cool." Funny. Here's the funny story though. So we were, I think we went to University of Manitoba for indoor track and field champs. It's not called U Sport. It was called CIS back then.
yeah.
I landed back in Toronto, had 30 minutes to rearrange my suitcase because 30 minutes after I was dropped off by the team bus, I was getting picked up by the other girl who had been invited to this driving school to go down to Lake Placid and drive the 6-hour drive from Toronto to Lake Placid. And that's how seriously committed I was to it. I was like, I will go on no sleep if it means I get a chance to try this bobsleigh thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
what was it in you that you were like, "Yeah, I wanna try bobsled?" Was it, like, seeing the games, or was it like, "I wanna go fast," or w
Oh,
I d
it definitely was not that second option
Oh,
because I am a chicken. I am not an adrenaline junkie. I hate roller coasters. I hate heights. Anything that puts me outside of my comfort zone, I immediately nope it out of there. So I think
I'm
it was
so
just I
confused by
know
you
I
right now.
there are days when I look back and I'm like, what honestly like triggered me switching to bobsleigh? And some days I think I can rationalize it, and some days I can't come to terms with what I did and why I did it. But like I said, because of how poor that performance of a season was. I
Okay.
think I was just looking for another outlet of being able
Yeah,
to
yeah,
compete
yeah,
in
yeah.
sport, and I was just like, well, here's something that's been thrust upon me, and I just watched this bobsleigh thing, a year or two ago at the Olympics. Maybe this is my
Yeah.
opportunity to go to the games. Like again, I had no aspirations of going to the Olympics, even for the summer games. And for some reason that I don't think I'll ever figure out, I just was like, hey, maybe bobsleigh is that ticket to the
So
Olympics.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, so then Lake Placid, let's just kind of go through like how the heck did you just go from like I'm gonna throw stuff to I'm going to get onto ice and push this thing and get in it.
Yeah. So it was a long 6 hour drive. And the second I got in that car, I was like, maybe I've made a mistake here. But there was no turning back. I was just like, I gotta see this through.
Was the other
Um,
girl had the other girl ever been in a bobsled before
no,
either?
she was just as new. And she had also gone to these track and field championships, like U Sport. She had also gone to U Sport and was going for the first time herself. So both of us were in the exact same position. I think she was a hurdler, like a 400-meter hurdler,
Okay.
and had also been invited down by Ontario Bobsleigh. So we were in it
Wild.
together.
So
We
cool.
get, yeah, we get to Lake Placid. The next day, we get to the track. We try out our helmets and we sit in the sun. They send you from halfway down. They don't send you from the top because
Yeah.
obviously that's a huge risk.
Yeah.
But they send you from halfway down in sleds that they claim cannot crash. Like you can bump them, pull the wrong steer, you can't crash them.
Is that for real?
It was for real for me and the girl. We know someone who has crashed it though, and they were promptly ushered into our sister sport of skeleton. They were like,
Oh,
bobsleigh's not for you. You should probably try skeleton.
bless.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's doing great. Like she's still performing really well in skeleton. So it was the best
Oh, no
decision for
doubt.
her. Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I love
She's
that
made a name for
story.
herself in skeleton. So
Heyo.
I hope she does tell that story with like pride of like, hey,
Yeah,
I tried it out for bobsleigh and it wasn't for me, but another opportunity opened and here I
for
am
sure.
now.
I think you've got to try things. Like you got to try
Yeah.
everything to see what you like and what works.
Exactly. So when we get to Lake Placid, they decide that the other girl will go first as the driver. I'll go first as a brakeman, and I'm panicking because I'm like, I don't like this scenario anymore. I want to go home. But again, there's no turning back. So promptly sat down, put my head down. They pushed us off,
Yeah.
and we made it down just fine. And I was like, okay, I can survive that. Let's see how I do when I get in the driver's seat. So second run, we come up, we switch positions. I'm now driving, and my heart is beating so fast because I'm just like, what was I thinking? Why am I here? Like you could be on your couch just resting. You decided to hop on a car and come down a Lake Platte. Like, who are you? What is
I love
this?
it.
Like, it was just a completely different version of Cynthia that I didn't know who that was in that moment. But they kicked us off, and the second we got onto the corner, I was just like hooked.
So
I
sweet.
was like, this is it. This is the sport for me. And from that moment, I became obsessed with bobsleigh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you are doing well as a brake woman.
Hmm.
Then we go into the test event. You get a bronze medal. And
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong, that would have been a year out of the
That was a
2018
year out.
Olympics.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
what was
okay.
significant about that was that I won that bronze medal with a development pilot, and we were the top Canadian team. So it was a huge scandal, well, not scandal, but it was like a huge thing because we had just beaten the reigning Olympic champion on the test event track for the next Olympic Games. So we were like, I had a little extra pep in my step that day.
No doubt. But then you ended up being alternate. I know there's a lot of things that go down with bobsled and the Olympics
Yes.
because I remember that from Sochi with the boys' crew. I've talked to Chris about
Yes.
it and being like, you were the driver and now you're not the driver, and like things happen in an instant at the Olympics.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
It was, I mean, you go into the Olympic season being told by all the veterans, Olympic season is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
People will just, not that they'll turn on you, but people are so desperate to see it through that they make it to the Olympic team that they're willing to pull out all the stops. And
Yeah.
sometimes you do see the ugly side of the sport.
Mm.
On the other side of that conversation, though, is something that doesn't get talked about quite enough, which is the politics of sport. And I was
Mm-hmm.
quite naive to it going into my first Olympic Games, thinking, well, surely my performances will speak for itself. They didn't because I was in the prime of my life. I was in the best shape. I was pushing the fastest. And, we get to the last race of the season. This race didn't count as a qualifier, so we were just doing it for, prize money, points, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I get pulled aside by one of the coaches, and they say, you won't be going to the games as a racing brakeman. We're going to name you as an alternate. And I was like, well, that makes no sense. My performances are speaking for themselves. What do you mean? And wouldn't you know it, I was watching the Olympics from the sidelines. And to this day, I've never been really given a good explanation as to why. I have my reasons, and I think
Hmm.
it's generally accepted that these were the reasons why.
Hmm.
Um, you know, Politics. At the end of the day, it boils down to politics, and what the NSO at the time decided was a better use of time, investment in dollars, whatever you want to name it. They felt that I
Hmm.
wasn't that person for them. I will wholeheartedly disagree, and I think my pilot at the time will also. Well, not I think, I know she
Yeah.
disagreed then and still disagrees now. She went to bat for me with the coaches, and the coaches basically, said some things that in this current climate of safe sport probably would be, you know, it borders on probably a complaint that could be filed.
Mm.
Um,
I do
but
want to I do want to just say NSO is National Sports Organization
yes,
for those that don't know.
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I always get into the habit. I mean,
I
we
know.
speak in
We talk about it.
acronyms.
We talk about it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wild, like, it's just a I kn
yeah.
and it's not an unheard of story in
Hmm.
other sports, and I know that it's so f I don't know personally because I was bullheaded and I was just somehow made it in every time,
Hmm.
but I know how heartbreaking it is for my teammates that didn't make it to the games that they wanted to go to, and I love that it put what I'm taking from your story is a fire under you to go to the next ones.
Yeah, it started off. It didn't start off that way though. That was for sure. I mean, I remember watching the final run of the women's race, just bitter and upset, and I was crying, and I was
Yeah.
told, midway through, basically, keep your emotions in check because you're here to support your teammates. They don't want to see you crying. And
Mm.
I was like, I don't care if they see me cry because I'm not happy, and I'm very much a person who wears her heart on her sleeve. So you definitely know how I'm feeling in a moment or
Yeah.
at any moment. So I, told myself, and after watching that final run, that I never want to do this sport. I never want to see the sport again. I hate bobsleigh.
Oh,
Yeah, like I was so mad. I was so mad because you know what's funny is, like, I found out later on from one of our competitors on another a nation that at that Olympic Games, they were shocked that I wasn't on the team, and they knew that that was their ticket to win, because not that I was like a difference
yeah.
maker, but like if it was that chaotic within our team that one of their better athletes was not racing, then here's our chance to win a medal on the women's side. And I thought that was crazy, and that was coming from a male athlete. So I was just like, this
Interesting.
is interesting. But yeah, I was so mad, and I was just like, this is it. I'm done. I'm gonna go and find a real job and never talk about this portion of my life ever again,
Oh my
because
gosh.
I just felt like I had dedicated the last 5 years to try and chase
Yeah.
this dream, and to be this close and have it
You
kind
just
of like
got
slip away from you.
I feel like I would say I'd be like, I got kicked in the face. Pretty
Yeah,
much, like,
like,
jeez.
yeah, it feels like you got pushed down, and then
No
sand was
doubt.
kicked in your face, and then you got a pummeling on top of that.
Yeah, yeah,
And so had it not been for a couple of my teammates at the time, one of the coaches at the time, and also I had lunch with Shelly Ann not too long after I came back from Korea. Had it not been for that core group of people who
yeah.
pushed me to give it another shot, I don't think I would be doing bobsleigh. Like 100%, I don't think I'd be doing bobsleigh. It was those people, and having the hard conversations and the hard talks, and letting them, giving myself the space to be vulnerable and not feeling like I was going to have it thrown in my face, but then also knowing that I did have a core people of supporters. I had a network, I had friends, I had people who were championing me, and I think
Mhm.
having those people in my corner really turned my, my thought process around as to what to do with the next 4 years.
Okay, cool. And then
And then,
you kinda
oh,
kicked some butt.
and then I kicked some butt. I went to the driving school that our international federation puts on, at the end of every Olympic season, and I had a lot of fun. I met
Yeah.
some great people, people that I consider some of my best friends to this day. And
You
yeah,
became a driver.
I became a driver. And that was another daunting challenge because typically it takes about 8 years for a pilot to become proficient enough to be on the World Cup circuit, winning medals. And I was able to do that in like 2 seasons. So I
That's
spent two
insane.
seasons. Yeah, 2 seasons. I was down on the development circuit, North American development circuit, European development circuit. Was putting down, some really, sketchy runs, but also some really good runs. And that's the inconsistency that comes when you're starting off brand
Right.
new.
Hmm.
And then, world championships in my third season of driving, I finished as a top Canadian in both the two and in the monobob event. And that was my I believe in myself moment. I think that was when I started to kind of like start buying into my own hype of like I can actually do this. Like
Yeah.
I think I made the right decision.
So sick. And then you got to go to the Olympics.
And then I got to go to the Olympics,
It
went into that
happened.
season. I that season was a blur, but I had so much fun. I was on the podium multiple times that year. Again, completely out of the blue. I don't think anyone expected me in that year to be hitting the podium. Got a crystal trophy because at that year they didn't have a crystal globe.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so
You have a one
we
off. Oh, just type
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so we're like we
Ah,
didn't really think this one through. So we're gonna get these trophies made instead of a crystal globe. So during the ceremony when they gave out the crystal globes, everyone else got crystal globes except for the monobob podium. And I was like, oh, okay. So,
interesting.
anyways, finished third, went into the games, ranked third in the world, finished eighth at the games. And I think that was just like, first game blues, first game jitters,
Yeah.
overanalyzing things. But then, yeah, came back the next year and then finally won my Crystal Globe in that 22-23 season, like you said in the
Yeah.
bio. And here we are now on the cusp of another Olympic season.
And where are we at? How are we feeling?
I feel pretty good. A lot of people like to make jokes that as you get older, things start to fall apart and you start to get slower. And I'm just like, no, I don't believe that. Um,
No.
I feel like I feel just as good now as I did when I first started this sport. And I don't mean that like there's probably people on my team that are going to hear this and they're like, ah, she's lying. And I'm like, no, because once you start bobsledding, you never feel good. So you're always going to feel as good as you did when you first started. And so that hasn't changed in the 11 years that I've been in this sport.
Oh,
Um, but I don't feel older. If anything, I feel like I'm in my prime.
yeah.
Our sport, what I love about bobsleigh is we're seeing more and more women stay longer. We're not seeing that drop off after you hit 30 and then, sayonara. I'm
Hmm.
35. We
Hmm.
have women in our sport that are 38, 39, 40, and they're just as
Crap.
much, they're just as competitive now as they were when they first started driving themselves. And so, yeah, like I'm at a point in my career where I'm like, do maybe I go on till 2030 in France. What's
Yeah.
stopping me right now? I still feel pretty good. I've been lucky
Yeah.
enough that I haven't had any injuries or major injuries that have taken me out. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I feel pretty good.
So sick. I'm so glad to hear. I mean, I was 34 at my fourth Olympics. So keep
There you
going,
go.
girl.
Exactly. Yeah. Like eventually, the sun will shine or the sun will come down on my career and I want to be able to look back and think that I've done everything that I've could and I had it I had as much fun as I did and I stayed for as long as I wanted to
Yeah. You leave on your
and
own terms.
and leave on my own terms, which is not something that many athletes get to say.
No, I
So,
think it's like if we did a percentage, I feel like it would be like less than 50% get to
oh,
leave on their own
easily.
accord.
Easily. Like I would say you're probably looking at around like 30% of
I
people get to
know.
leave on their own terms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I wanna before we wrap this up, I wanna be selfish here and I wanna be like, okay, you have to go to the gym a lot. I know this
Yes.
because you're a bobsledder and would see you guys in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
What in your brain, other than like, you have to go, is like, are you excited to go? Like, what what drives you there?
Oh, when I first started bobsledding, I was just like, I'm so excited to go to the gym. and I can't wait to see how stronger I can get. And now I get
Okay.
to the gym and I'm like, oh my God, what's the program now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
power cleans. So it takes another level of motivation to really get into the gym and know that you have to finish the workout because
Okay.
if you don't, then you're setting yourself up for failure.
I
And
like
one of
that.
the yeah one of the cliche lines that coaches love to toss out, and it's true, is that your competitors are working just as hard, if not harder,
Mm-hmm.
than you to achieve their dreams. So
Mm-hmm.
why aren't you doing what you need to do to achieve your dreams? Like, you don't want to give your competitors an edge. And for me, that's what motivates me to go to the gym. Of I don't want to look back at the end of this Olympic year and be like, yeah, those days I only did, some of the power cleans, or I decide to skip out on squats that one day. Am I going to look back and think to those moments as the reason why I didn't achieve my goals for this season?
I
I
love that.
never want anything to be outside of my control.
Mm-hmm.
We here control the controllables, so I control what I can control.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you just put a lot of trust into your coaches and your therapists and all of that.
Hmm.
So you have
Yeah.
to have a good relationship there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, our program has been very successful, with the exception of, I think, the 2002 Salt Lake Games.
Yeah.
From Nagano onward until now, we've won an Olympic medal at every single Olympic Games.
Right.
So they know what they're doing. So I
Cool.
gotta trust that the
Yeah.
process will work out.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good I loved it. Okay. Um I just find it so fascinating. That's why I'm so into this series. I just want to like recap my takeaways from all your stories and what motivates you, and we'll start with representation. That's like key for you.
Hmm.
That was the one word. You saw someone else doing it. It gave you an opportunity into this world of winter sports, which I just think is so cool. We didn't even
Hmm.
get into everything. We haven't even talked about Jeopardy. We haven't even said if you're like gonna go back to hammer throw again, which I think you did and you are, but that's
Hmm.
shelving that. Um, let's just get back to motivation. Encouragement from coaches.
Hmm.
I think that goes really, really far. We talked about that early on, and then we talked about that in the end, not getting the edge, not giving the edge away to your
Hmm.
competitors. That's what motivates you. Which it used to be like, I want to see how much stronger I can get, which is
Yeah,
totally good too. Like I think
totally fair.
you can still grasp at some of those things. Um, and I think the confidence and the positive reinforcement from others and teammates,
Hmm.
that is also something that's coming up in this series, is like still having fun while doing
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
owning who you are while you're in it as well.
Hmm. a hundred
Did I
percent agree.
did I miss anything?
No, I
Politics and
see.
sport, they suck, but that's why we're here to help it make it better.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's why you and I do the work that we do outside of sport, even though we're
Yeah,
still involved in sport. It's trying to leave the sport in a better place than how we found it. And I think we've done
100%.
such great work in the last, 3 years that we've been tackling this.
Mhm.
And obviously, there's a lot more work to do, but I think, where we're at right now is like night and day compared to where we were, 4 years ago, I would
I
say.
know. I always say it's getting better.
Yes,
It's not the
slowly,
best, but it's
too
getting
slowly, but it's getting
better.
better.
Totally. Cynthia, thank you so much for dropping in. Where can everyone find you online to follow along?
So you can find me on Instagram at the Synapse. For all you nerdy people, you'll get the pun that's there. And then I'm also on TikTok at Sin Diesel, which is a name that one of my former coaches gave me, and I didn't realize that it was a play on Vin Diesel until way too late, long after I'd used that as my title or as my handle on TikTok. But yeah, at Sin Diesel on TikTok, at the Synapse on Instagram, and Threads, which is a platform that I have to figure out how to utilize. So
I love it because I'm like barely on Twitter anymore, anyways.
yeah, no, I do not use that app.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cynthia, thank you so much for dropping in today.
Thanks, Mercedes.
Thanks so much for dropping in today. You can find everything you want to know about dropping in with Mercedes at droppinginwithmercedes.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks DJ Kenosis for the music and my mom for the intro voice.